Real Music exclusive.
I grew up like a savage.
Hello.
1-2-1-2. You now rocking with the No Vultures podcast, and we got a special episode. Now, this guy to my left, to your right, y'all already know he got the most No Vultures appearances out of everybody ever. Whether he's in the background making a cameo, whether he's dropping off some of this Grizzly Peak, some of this Grateful Dave. He drop off a lot of this shit. He drop off the Simply Green. We done had a lot of shit on the show, man. You know what I'm saying? Took care of the guests. And to my right, you got this guy. Now, if y'all don't know him, he's not in front of the camera all the time, but this is Dave. This is Grizzly Peak. He the Grizzly on the bag. That's him. They took that. He said, "Can you make me a bear?" And they drew him. You know what I'm saying? And he is a part of this union that he over here at Blunts and More with Tucky, and they made a great collaborative effort, got together, did some great business in Oakland, and we here today to talk about all that shit. So welcome, gentlemen.
Man, thank you.
Thank you for having us here today. I appreciate it.
Now, Tucky, y'all know him. Dope dealer, ex-con, terrible man, and he just got a cannabis dispensary. Because this is my partner, man. I grew up with him. Grew up with his pops. Y'all know the story. Not grew up with his pops, but his pops was my plug. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
His dad was my plug, and he was going to school with me.
I never knew.
I did not know.
And I never knew.
That is wild.
His dad, TB, man, he had some of the best weed in Oakland at one point, and you used to have to give sign language to get the weed.
Okay,
I used to have to make signs to get it. So we came a long way in
Long
since
way.
then. We don't got to do all that shit no more. But so how y'all doing?
I'm good, cuz.
Good.
I'm good.
Just got a new whip.
Yeah. We ain't telling nobody, though.
So y'all making money then, Dave, because you just got a new car.
Shit.
I don't know how we got the new car.
I brought Peter to pay Paul.
but you know, I know him as a rapper and now a friend and a business partner.
Yeah.
And I could say that.
Oh, you knew Cookie, man?
Well, when he came to my house when we first met, he broke it out at the fire.
Oh,
yeah.
He broke out Cookie, man.
Old lady was like, you rap? I'm like, yeah, I used to. She's like, play something. I was like, all right. They put me on the spot. We out there dancing and shit.
Hey, and my daughter and my kids, they love him. They
I love him
They
too.
love him. They follow him. My daughter Lauren talks about him all the time. My son Nate follows him, talks about him constantly.
Yeah, I haven't taught him how to be a crook yet, though.
Oh, he already knew how to do
He's
that.
smart as hell, but he don't know. He's very honest.
Really, he is.
He is.
He is.
I appreciate
No, that's
that.
straight.
He's like one of the only straight up dudes like I know, man. He don't give a fuck. He just honest.
Well, you know that's the interesting story, right? This is not a natural partnership that just organically occurs, right? He was very fortunate. He did all the right things. He won the lotto. He made himself known at the city. You know, we had started our factory. We were just launching our brand. And when he got that lotto ticket, we were down there. We clearly had a space for, that we thought would be great. And instantly he and I hit it off.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
He did have some partners in the past that, didn't quite work out so well. But, that's kind of learning how to do a business.
Yep.
That's kind of what our role was. So we stepped in, we stepped out. Now we're back. We're good partners, and I'm just very thankful to have an honest, straight dude like Tucky.
Likewise.
Super great story.
Likewise.
I got to get on your background because we know about Tucky. We did this so many times, right? And he's told the story about you, about the same thing you started to tell us about right now. But I want to go into your past a little bit, right? So where is Dave from? Where's your origins? Where you come from?
Seaside.
Nah.
Oh, yeah, it's true.
Nah.
It's true.
You're not from Seaside.
I'm from Seaside straight up.
No, I'm just fucking with you.
No, they don't let people like me in Crips. I'm just saying. I got friends that might be Crips, but
shout out to Seaside Stretch, my partner, man.
Right?
Yeah. You know Stretch?
I do not.
Meet Stretch, man.
I would like to, and I know most people in Monterey because my background was similar to Tucky's as a youngster, but my dad was a roller.
Oh, okay.
So I got treated a little different. When I got pulled for a bag, They called my dad. I emptied it in the street and I walked.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And that's why we're here today. I take a lot of pride in trying to change the street. I really believe that, a lot of this injustice and all this racist talk and all this shit as of late, because we ain't helping each other. We ain't talking. We ain't figuring it out. We all pointing fingers, and it's just time to stop that shit.
True.
That's how I'm feeling.
No, I feel
so because his story was similar to mine, but I got a pass.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he didn't get no pass. He got
Right.
busted for selling some shit nothing. I had way more. I was a grower.
Right.
I might have been sending it down this way.
Yeah.
And, I took a different path. I was a contractor, developer. We did a lot of nice projects. And when this business rolled up, we're like, hey, we started in San Diego. We rolled it out. My other partner, Matt Yamashita,
Okay.
great grower.
Okay.
He's 20 years younger than I. He was in the game. He had stores. He swayed me into, be an investor and help him establish the business. And once we got rolling, we're like, shit, where are we going to set this up for real?
Yeah.
Right? Because none of the rest of the country at that time in late 16, early 17 was friendly to weed, except for Oakland.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right? Oakland and the desert.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't want to go to the desert. It's too fucking hot.
Uh-huh.
But Oakland, I can be in and out of a plane. I live in San Diego. And we picked up these facilities, and that's just really then how it started. And almost immediately, we got hooked up with Tucky.
Like in that instance, like starting that business and getting your facilities, the legal part of it, right? Like, how do you just for people who don't know? So we understand the equity part. We understand Tucky's winning the lotto, but with you, how do you? Of course, finances, right? But how do you get in the game if you say, hey, I want to be the one that approaches a person like Tucky and have facilities and have grows? Now it's much different. I'm speaking of that particular time. How did you do it?
Well, that's the interesting connection, right? So when you're a developer, you do entitlement work, right? You're going to buy some apartments, you're going to convert them to condos, you're going to get a tentative map, and you got to go through all the city mumbo jumbo.
Right.
So it was very, very similar and a natural transition for me. I understood the bureaucracy. I understood that the city says one thing today and another tomorrow.
Okay.
Right? And you've got to be able to come in and navigate complicated shit. So A, you better have some patience. B, you got to have some money, like you talked about. But the legality and the technical part is where everybody's really starting to hit a wall.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All the boys that are coming off the hillside are coming from the street, trying to get legit, and it's a fucking traffic jam.
Yeah.
Cities are
Yeah, it
difficult. Projects, when I did my condo jobs, we'd think maybe 2 years, it turned into 4.
Yeah.
And if the market was with you, you capitalize on the upside, all boats float when tides are high, right?
Right.
But if they don't and you miss the market, you get crushed.
True.
Right? And then the construction aspect of it, all the different trades. So it's very, very natural for me.
Yeah.
Right? I've had lots of employees. I've done the entitlement piece. We were the first cultivation license at our first facility. I went from number 32 submittal and was the very first cultivation license
This
here
is
in Oakland.
California.
This is Oakland.
Oakland.
We are straight up the very first cultivation license.
Wow.
We had to do a similar equity deal at the time. We brought in some guys, we mentored them, and quite frankly, that's where they fell apart. The guys we brought in early as our mentorship program just couldn't get over how expensive a website and building a menu and waiting for a license and workers' comp and general liability.
Which most of us don't understand.
Right.
So you mean as far as like coming in your position, right? So bringing those people in, you bringing them in on the grow side, but it's the same in essence with the equity. You still have to bring in the same system, right?
Oakland, when they first gave out licenses, they were giving 1 for 1. So you had to have their mentor social equity program, and I had to bring along an equity partner at that time.
They call it incubation. Is what
Right,
they call it out here.
incubation,
Okay.
right? That's what it called back then. And then we had to give him 1,000 square feet. I had to give him free rent. I mentored him. I got all his shit, but it costs money. And then
What were they supposed to do though? Like, so you growing cannabis, like Or is it essentially you give them 1,000 square feet? Is it essentially their own business?
That's right. And the problem with that was at that time they were building money at the city that they didn't have.
Yep.
It was going to be a coming soon money. So if you were going to partner with me tomorrow and you had to qualify and make less than 80 grand or 60 grand, whatever the qualification was, you ain't got no money.
You basically footing the bill for them the whole
How
time.
are you supposed to do
The
a
incubation,
website?
Yeah, you footing the bill for them the whole entire time.
And so, like most people would know, business acumen, they fail. So they go in, they don't know about promoting, they don't know about. So Tucky, I gotta ask you, in coming into this shit, because I'm sure that it's the same shit. Where did you get the patience from? Because you know, when somebody gets this situation right, you say, "Man, I struck it rich." Like
that's what everybody believes.
yeah, like you get this lottery ticket, you get this golden ticket, you're going to see fucking Willy Wonka, right? And it don't turn out like that. Like, so where was your patience? And because you had to explain to me so many times that essentially you won this, but you're also an employee.
Yeah, at the time I was.
So you have to have you get a check. Like you have to work here. You don't just like people think, oh, you won, you got fucking blunts and more. You the man. Like, and it's not like that.
No, like what people don't realize, like Dave said, when the equity thing started, because he was already in it before me, and then he did the incubation stuff with the previous people. For me coming in as the dispensary license, we really didn't, like, none of us have any money. So the point of being incubated is you incubate by somebody who has money, who can basically foot your bill until the city get their stuff together. That can take 3, 4, 5 years. How you gonna be in debt with somebody 3, 4, 5 years? You understand what I'm saying? So for me with the patience, it just came from me learning. Dave and them taught me a lot because I knew how to run my businesses. I never had employees. Proud Papas, you know, the clothing, the detailing, all the shit. I knew how to do that. That was me. You know what I'm saying? My kids. But this was different. You got staff. You got 401ks you got to worry about. You got benefits you got to worry about. I didn't know none of that.
Totally different ballgame.
And just to that point, guys, when you start a corporation, you become officers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay? So almost anybody that's directly employed is going to be an employee and also a beneficiary as an owner.
Yep.
If there is dividends to give out.
Yep.
And with the fucking taxes we got now and getting
that's
shot
crazy.
up and
It's
fucking
crazy.
robbed 3
It's
motherfucking
crazy.
times,
That's crazy.
it's been brutal for us.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Right.
Like you and I know people that are fans of the show know the story with your former partners, and I want to say this: you went into it totally blind.
Yeah. I went into it believing that they
Grizzly
was.
Brooks went into it blind. So when you are essentially getting robbed, like, because this is a separate business, but you guys are partners.
That's right.
Correct.
So you're not in control of what Tucky has going on.
Well, in the relationship.
In the relationship we had it. So what we did, when we first met Dave, and that's parking lot right outside, or I met Matt. They initially wanted, like everybody do, they want ownership of the license. That's what everybody want. Me, I knew in my mind, I'm like, I'm not giving up ownership of my license. It's my license. But how do we work together in order to give you some money for helping me if we work together, and what do we do? So we just had a couple meetings. Basically, we sat down and negotiated. They wanted what they wanted, we wanted what we wanted, and we was able to do like creative ways to get them money to do things like management partners. Like basically they run the store in the sense of you hire, you fire, etc. We pay you for that, but you don't get no ownership. And that's how we had it initially. Now it's totally flipped. I got sole ownership, but they my partners 50%. You know what I'm saying? It just, we had to learn how to work with each other and do everything, because the way it was set up initially, it started off cool, but we both noticed that it wasn't working. But I came in with them.
Right.
How do I leave them and then come with you? But we knew, we saw what was going on. It's like, dude, this is not gonna work. This is not gonna work. And that's pretty much what it was. It wasn't like I didn't want to have to leave them or not come in with who I came in with, but they were shady. They weren't. Period.
The partnership, the partnership, the way that they came in a way that Bree told her story about, she was watching Vice and like saw Oakland and was like, Grizzly Brooks, let me attack this situation. So I know this, you know this too, but you normally did business for yourself that required a service, so it was not a lot of negotiating with that, right? So people just pay you. But you know this, and I've known this from other businesses, that business is shrewd, right? So business is not about being necessarily nice. Some people are in a business to strictly score and dissolve the business, right?
Yeah.
When you, from your observations from your previous businesses, just what was your take on Tucky's relationship with Bree, her mother, and everybody else? Because I never, this is straight up, I never saw the value in them, right? So I looked at like they were just liaisons into whatever they could, swindle him into doing for his name, his license that essentially is his. You know what I mean? Because she didn't come with money up front. She didn't give you no money up front.
Neither one of us had nothing.
So,
and at the time, I didn't know
as a business partner, right?
You wouldn't do that normally.
If you were Bree, you almost would have, not knowingly, but had he, let's just say you set this man up for this equity thing, right? You don't know he's going to get it because it's a luck of the draw, right? But say you're saying we going in here with hopes that you're going to get it, just like they did. Another partner would have said, you know what, I might even be able to advance you some cash so that I can be a part of this business. I can remove you from your 9 to 5 or whatever you're doing, and we can attack this business. What was your take on them initially? Because I know you was like, what the fuck is this? Like
100%. And, that's a great question, because when we first met, I like Bree, I like the mom, but first thing I said in my business models is you can't work with your relatives. You bring in your mom, I get pissed at your mom, I fire your mom, now you're pissed at me. That's a circle to nowhere. So the very first meeting, she came in and said she's going to be this, this, and this. I said, no, you ain't working here, period.
Right.
And yes, to your point, yes, we can allocate money to Tucky, Brad Ambassador, it's his store, Bree can be the GM, and we'll be managers over the top. We'll manage the books. We'll show you how to do all the things.
Did an excellent job.
Right? And show you the things that you don't know how to do. So it's so funny you say that, because when we were sitting in our think tank back in San Diego with all my boys, we were on the chalkboard and we're like, these fools, they're going to be fighting. Let's quit fucking around. They bring no value.
Right.
And the only way we're going to get this done is if we just step back and, quite frankly, watch them fail by natural. And I told Tucky on the side.
But you had to do this before.
I told Tucky, I said, look, man, you want to run with them? They're your people. We respect that. And we're going to give you some time. And we came in, and like you said, we got some rent because I already had the place. We wanted to promote our brand, so we did a contract to be the premier brand at the store. Tucky wanted his brand with, Simply Green and Blunts and Ward, strains and whatnot. So we did a strain contract. And we said, great. We get then a fee to manage the oversight, and at the end, we're in charge, right? If I want to fire, all due respect, if you Tucky, you don't do your shit, or Bree, you don't do your shit, and I come in and say you're out, you're out.
Right.
Okay, you're still owner. But we knew. See, we knew. We had higher hopes before all the dilemma and all the bad shit that went down. We thought this was a $10 million superstore. Raiders were here.
I did too.
Easy.
I did too.
So we've had some unfortunate, and that's life, right? And so with us knowing that, we said, let's let them do a run and either succeed or fail. And we knew they weren't right very soon into the game.
6 months.
And then we slowly kind of got pushed out. And my team was like, let's go to war, kick them out. They're not in compliance with the contract. I'm like, no, fuck that. That's bad press. That's not good for Oakland. We didn't come up in here to start causing problems. That ain't
right.
So
neither did they, but
And not to mention,
you were closer than them.
not to mention, the problems weren't me. So we're gonna have problems, and it weren't me. Like if we're gonna go to war, we essentially going to war against Tucky, but it's not.
But it's not
Tucky's
Tucky.
fault.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
it's just a team.
Yeah, I'm literally sitting in there with people that I couldn't vote out because they brought 4 people to the team. The team was 5 people. They brought 4 of them. How do
If you had known, you could have had you and your wife, and like it could
had
been
I
different.
known how to read, the deals and read the operating agreements the right way, I read it and looked at it for me that okay, they can't vote me out. Great, that's great. But I didn't realize I couldn't vote her out either.
Yeah. So they got jammed. They had a nice attorney from Florida. They had a developer, Carl, which was a nice guy, and I felt was the mediator. I mean, Carl really was an integral part. He was a sophisticated developer. The paperwork was a shit show, and we knew all that. So we're like, when we gave them control because they wanted it so bad, the girls, and we said, we're not here to fight you guys.
Right.
They started to create internal bullshit, and we said, fuck it, just give us our fee, give us our rent, keep our contract, and we're going to step out.
And I voted on this, approved on this reluctantly because I didn't see, like, I'm the kind of person, me and him talk about it. If you say something's wrong, prove it to me. Show me the number, show me. Don't just tell me it's wrong, show me.
Right.
And they couldn't really show me what he did wrong, but I was outvoted. They was able to convince the other two to buy into it, and it was like, I'm outvoted, nothing I can do. But I didn't agree to them taking over the finances.
Yeah.
I just had to agree because I was in a position where I could not agree.
Stay on blue. I'm just trying to stay racked up like you. Put an 8 in a 1 and do magic. Tryna stretch hair on like elastic. Eco-friendly drug dealer, I don't waste no plastic. Use all 4 corners of that baggie. All I ever wanted was a bankroll. So I pull up on Champ before the bank close. Say no to stank hoes and stank clothes. No paramedic pimpin', nigga, we don't save hoes.